Okay, everybody please stand up for a prayer. Charissa Babao, you lead the prayer. Amen. So good morning, class. Okay, I am also glad to see you this morning. So before we take our seat, let us have first an energizer. Do you want to be energized? Okay, so do you know the song, It's a Beautiful Day? Very good. So I will play a video here, and what you're going to do is to sing along and do the action. Okay? Okay, so are you now feeling energized? Okay, very good. So before we take your seat, I will count from 1 to 10. So your chairs must be aligned already. And yung mga basura dapat ilagay nyo na sa mga tamang basurahan. Especially yung ang dami nakakalat na mga basura. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, very good. Kasi yung mga chairs nyo is naka-align na at yung mga basura is pinulot nyo at nilagay nyo na sa trash bins. So let's give yourself 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. So now, we will have first your attendance. Okay? So, when I call your name, you're just going to say your favorite animal or plant or maybe your favorite pet. Para you will be distinguished as present. Understood? Okay. So, let's start our attendance. Charissa, Riniel, Trixie. Okay, very good. I am happy that today is no one's absent. So let us give ourselves 5 claps again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I am really happy that walang absent ngayong araw. So now, I will introduce naman sa inyo yung classroom rules natin. Okay? So these classroom rules should be followed. Lagi dapat araw-araw kong pina-follow. So, everybody please read. Okay, yes, we should always listen attentively, especially if I am discussing or merong mga sinasabi ni teacher dito, okay? So next, let's read. Follow instruction. Okay, so if I have an instruction here, you should follow, okay? Next, raise hand to answer and ask. So if you have any question, queries, suggestion, so you're just going to raise your hand. Okay, understood? Very good. Next, show respect. So, we should always show respect, okay, in this classroom. So, we should always be respectful. Are we respectful? Okay, very good. Next, always practice good behavior. Okay, so we should always practice good behavior, okay? And there should be no bullying. Dapat hindi natin binubully yung classmates natin, okay? Very good. Next, please be quiet. Especially if you are doing some activities or merong mga instruction na sinasabi ng teacher. So dapat quiet tayo ha, para isang instruction ng teacher is maintindihan agad ng lahat. Very good. And lastly, strive for excellence. So syempre, since we are here in the school, we should always strive for excellence. We should always do our best, okay? Maaasahan ko ba yan sa inyo? Very good! So I hope that you will always follow our classroom rules. So now, we will have a recap about our previous topic. So, has anyone here still remember what is our previous topic all about? Yes, Trixie. Okay, very good. So let's give Trixie an A clap. Do you know what is an A clap? Okay, so A clap just like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A. Okay? You do and follow teachers, okay? Teacher, okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A. Okay, very good. So Trixie is correct. Our previous topic was all about the parts of the flower. So ano yung mga parts ng isa bulaklak? So, to really know if you still remember what is our previous topic or ano yung mga parts ng bulaklak, we will have an activity. So, are you excited for our activity? Okay, very good. So, our activity for today is what part am I? So, this will be our activity for today. So, here. What part am I? Okay, so allow me to first paste this. So this will be our activity for today. So for the direction, identify the parts of the flower by sorting the correct terms into the appropriate pouch provided. Each pouch corresponds to a specific flower parts. Ensure that you place the correct term in the matching pouch. So, we have here a flower leaves. So what you're just going to do is to sort these leaves into the specific pouch that you have seen here in front. So you're just going to sort these here, if you think that these leaves belongs in this pouch. Understood? Okay. So, I will pick 7 people to do this sorting. First, so, if I call your name, you just stay there in your seats, and after I call all the 7 people to do the activity, you just line here and pick 1 flag leaves, and you're just going to sort it here in the pouch. Understood? Very good. So first, Norchi Gonzaga. Second, Erica Liega. Third, Sheena Cortez. Fourth, John Carmelo Pateno. Fifth, Honey Grace Rivera. 6, Charissa Abab. And lastly, Riajin Taon. Okay, you just fall in line, and also you are going to pick 1 leaves, and after you pick 1 leaves, you're going to sort in the specific pouch that you think these leaves belong. So now, let's check if your answers are correct. Okay? So, here is the answer. So, let us see if your sorting of plum leaves is correct. So, first is the anther. So, the anther here, is it correct? So, where's the anther? Okay, here. So, Yes, so who answered the anther? In the anther part? Yes, patinyo. So let us give patinyo an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. So patinyo is correct. So this part of the flower is called anther. Okay, very good. So next, filament. Okay, filament. So where's filament? Okay, here. So who answers filament? Okay, Sheena. So let's give Sheena A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, so Sheena also is correct. Very good. So next is the petal or petal. So who answered the petal? Okay. Okay, Erica. So let's give Erica also an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A. Okay, Erica is also correct. So fleet petal, the rule of fleet petal is that it serves as it attracts pollinator, especially butterfly, birds. Okay? Okay, very good. So next is sepal. So who answers sepal? Charissa. Okay, let us check if Charissa is correct. Okay, very good. So let's give Charissa an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, very good. Charissa is correct. So this part of the flower is called sepal. Very good. So next, stigma. Okay, who answers stigma? Okay, where's stigma? So here. Who answers stigma? Okay, Norchi. So is Norchi correct? Yes. So let's give Norchi also an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, very good. Norchi is correct. So this part of the flower is called stigma. And next is style. Okay, as you can see in the picture and here, where's the style? Okay, here. So who answers style? Okay, Rhea. So is Rhea correct? Okay, yes. Very good. So let's give Rhea an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, very good. Rhea Jean is correct. So this part of the flower is called the style. And lastly is the ovary. So here, so last but definitely not the least. So who answered these? Okay, honey. So honey is syempre correct. So this part of the flower is called ovary. So let's give honey an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, very good. So let us check honey. Okay, so let's give them all as 5 claps since they answered our activity correctly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, very good. So I am truly happy that you do still remember what are the parts of the flower. So very good. So now, are you excited for our next lesson for today? Who's excited? Please raise your hand. Okay, very good. Kasi lahat kayo ay excited sa magiging lesson natin ngayong araw. Pero, bago ko sasabihin kung ano yung lesson natin ngayong araw, let us first have an activity. So, gusto niyo po ba ng activity? Okay, very good. So, okay, sandali lang ha. Tanggalin mo na ito ni teacher. Okay, so we will have another activity. So this activity is called Pick Me on Where Do I Live edition. So for the direction, let us read. The class will be divided into 3 groups based on their unique headdresses to represent their group. The group 1 are the bird headdress, group 2 are the mushroom headdress, and group 3 are the bee headdress. Each group will receive 3 cut-out pictures of animals or organisms that needed to be fixed. After fixing the picture, the group will decide in which level of the tree that Animals can be seen or live, and they will paste the fixed picture in the board given within the given time frame of 2 minutes. So this is where you're going to paste your output or your activity after fixing the pictures. So first, allow me to paste this here in the board. Okay, so this. Okay, so at the start of the class, you were being given a set of headdresses. So there is a bird headdress, a mushroom headdress, and also the bee headdress. So what you're going to do is you will be grouped based on the headdress. So for the bird headdress, please stand up. Okay, so you will stay in this part or in this row. So for the mushroom headdress, please stand up. So you will be placed here in this row. Okay, very good. So carry on. And lastly, the bee headdress. So everybody please stand up. The bee headdress. Okay, very good. So you're going to be in this area. Okay, so double time. Okay, very good. So are you now settled with your group? Okay, so you just do circle. Yes. Mag-circle kayo. Okay, done na? Okay, very good. Since everyone is settled na, nakapag-circle na lahat ng group, so the activity is that you will be given a 3 or what we call this 3 pictures, cut-out pictures. So these 3 cut-out pictures is that naka-cut out to sila. So what you're going to do is that you're going to fix it. I-fix nyo sila. So, and after you fix it, you will going to paste that certain pictures if you think what certain animal that you have picked and which part of the 3 does that certain animal live. You think that certain animal live in this part of the 3, then you're going to paste the picture here. If that certain animals live in this part of the tree, you're going to paste the picture here. And so on and so forth. And lastly is the ear in this part. The bottom, or yung pinakababa. Kung saan meron ng lupa. Kung yung animal ba yan, if that certain organism is live at a certain level. So, understood? Okay, very good. So, yung mga representative ng every group, please come in front. Okay, so for the group 1, here. For the group 2, and for the group 3. Okay, time's up. So you all already paste your answers here in the board. So now let us check. So sakto-sakto sa oras within the given time frame of 2 minutes. So now let us check your answers if it is correct. Okay, so here is a group 1. So here is the pictures of group 1. Okay, and here. So let us see if the answers of group 1 are correlated on the pictures that they have pasted here in the board. Okay? Okay, so for the pictures of group 1, there is a monkey, a tarsier, and also a plant. So for the information of everybody, this plant is called Rafflesia, okay? Okay, so now let us check. So at this layer, so pangalawang layer na bibilang yung monkey and tarsier. So here, okay, so correct. So, correct agad yung dalawang pictures ng group 1. And lastly, is yung plant. So, nabibilang siya sa pinakababa. Okay, so very good. So, group 1 got a perfect score for the pictures that we have pasted here. And also, they have fixed the picture also correctly. So, very good, group 1. So, now let us proceed to group 2. Okay, so for the group 2, ano yung picture ng group 2? So they have this certain bird. So this bird is called the harpy eagle. Okay, anong pang picture? Jaguar and also a bee. So, saan ba nabibilang yung harpy eagle or yung eagle? Saan siya nakatira? Okay, so pinaka-top and also group 2 is correct. Tama. And also, they have assembled the picture correctly. Next is the jaguar and bee. Okay? Nasa second to the last siya. Dito and dito. Okay, very good, group 2. Okay, group 2 also got the perfect score for this activity. Okay, very good, group 2. Okay, lastly for the group 3. Okay, for the group 3 is their pictures are bats, ano pa? Bats, ano pa group 3? Snake, and also worms. Okay, check natin is tama ba yung sagot ng group 3? Yung pagkaka-fix nila sa picture at also yung pagkaka-paste nila kung saan na nakatira yung animals na to. Okay? So for first is the bat. Okay, nasa top yung bat, correct. Next is yung snake and worms. Nasa pinaka-bottom sila. Okay, tama ba? Okay, very good. So group 3 also got the perfect score for this activity. Okay, lahat ng grupo is perfect sa activity na to and I am very happy so with that. Let us give ourselves an A clap. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, A. Okay, very good. So all groups are correct. So now, based on the activity that you just did, wherein you classify these kind of pictures that you have fixed on where on a certain layer of these trees they have live or they live. Now, how did you classify these animals based on where they live? Anyone? Okay, Angel? Okay, very good. Based on where they are often seen. Kung saan sila palaging nakikita. Now, saan ba palaging nakikita yung mga animals na to? Okay. Erica, yes. Saan? Okay, very good. In the tropical rainforest. Dito mostly nakikita yung mga animals na to. Now, how do these animals interact with one another? Specifically, sinabi ni Erica na nakikita yung mga animals na to sa tropical rainforest. Now, how do they interact with one another? Okay, yes, Regine. They interact by competing. Yes, very good. They are interacting through competing. Nagko-compete sila in terms of food, shelter, and so on. Now, based again on our activity, what do you think will be our lesson for today? Okay. Yes, Trixie. Okay. Thank you. So our topic for today is called ecosystem and interaction among living things in tropical rainforest. So very good, ang galing ni Trixie. Yes, our topic will be all about the ecosystem, primarily on the interaction of these living organisms in the tropical rainforest. So, for our learning objectives, I want everybody to please read here. Our learning objectives. Okay, so everybody please read. At the end of the lesson, the pupils will be able to first identify the interactions among living and non-living things in a tropical rainforest. Second, analyze how living organisms depend on one living component for survival in a tropical rainforest ecosystem and appreciate the balance between living and non-living components in tropical rainforests by discussing the importance of preserving these ecosystems. Okay, thank you for reading. So I hope that at the very end of our discussion, we can attain these learning objectives. Maaansahan ko ba yan sa inyo? Okay, very good. So now, since we will be talking about ecosystem, specifically on the interaction of these organisms in tropical rainforest, ano ba dapat ang gawin pag nag-discuss si teacher? Again, let's go back to our classroom rules. You need to listen attentively and please be quiet. And also, if there are some questions raised by me or by the teacher, and if you have any questions, you can just raise your right hand. Nagkakaintindihan ba? Okay, so very good. So now, ating aalamin na kung ano nga ba ito ecosystem. So first is, what is ecosystem? Okay, so let us read. Ecosystem is an environment where both living and non-living things exist and interact with one another. So pag sinasabi natin interact with one another, ano ba ibig sabihin niya? Okay? Yes, Charissa? Okay, very good. Yes, sila ay nag-interact within one another, especially sa isang environment wherein nakikita-kita sila. So, there are different types of interaction. Like sinabi nyo kanina, they are interacting through competing by food. Aside from food, shelter, at ano pa interaction na nangyayari. So, naiintindihan ko anong ecosystem? Okay, very good. Ang ating nagtatandaan sa ecosystem, it is where both the living and non-living exist and they interact with one another. Now, sino kaya makakapagbigay sa atin kung ano yung example ng mga living things? Okay, yes! Patinyo. Plants and animals. Very good, yes! Plants and animals is one of the examples of living things. Now, sino naman kaya makakapagbigay sa atin ng non-living things? Okay, yes, honey? Okay, very good. Humidity, air, sunlight, and so on. Na kung saan, they are considered as the support system ng Earth. So these are considered as the non-living things, especially the sunlight. So, lahat ng sinabi ni Patinyo at ni Honey, yun yung mga halimbawa kung ano yung living things and non-living things. So basta ating tatandaan na sa ecosystem is where the organisms by both the living and non-living are interacting. So, understood? Okay, very good. So now let us proceed to what is rainforest? So does anyone here, based on the definition being flashed here, knows what is a rainforest? Okay, yes, Claudine. Okay, yes, very good. So rainforest, it is where a place kung saan yung parang malamig, there is rain, and also in a rainforest, it is where like a lot of animals live there. So yes, correct si Cleo. Now let us all read naman yung definition dito about sa rainforest. Everybody please read. A warm, wet forest, it is full of trees, colorful plants, and many kinds of animals. These forests get a lot of rain all year, and they are home to more plants and animals than any other place on Earth. Tropical rainforests are important because they help produce oxygen and keep our planet healthy. So yes, So tropical rainforest plays a very crucial role in our ecosystem, especially it produces a lot of oxygen. Since di ba yung rainforest is parang sinasabi dito, marami siyang trees. And one of the example of tropical rainforest is this, as you can see in this picture. So parang ganito yung tropical rainforest, maraming mga kahoy. And aside sa mga kahoy, yung tropical rainforest din is home by a lot of species. Definitely plants, animals, and so on that we will be talking about later. Na kung saan sasabihin ko kung ano yung mga animals na makikita sa tropical rainforest. Now, one example of a tropical rainforest is the Amazon rainforest. So this Amazon rainforest houses a lot of species, specifically that is only endemic at this area. Okay? So now, in the Philippines also, since Philippines is considered as a tropical rainforest country, we are also housing a lot of different species or organisms, especially in this place, the Sierra Madre. The Sierra Madre also, wherein we can see this certain plant. So as I said earlier, this plant is called Rafflesia. So this Rafflesia can be seen specifically in the Philippines. Specifically also in Sierra Madre. Since Philippines is considered as tropical rainforest country. So now, tropical rainforest also has been classified into different layers. So these different layers are ito. So everybody read: emergent layer, canopy layer, understory layer, and forest floor layer. So ito. So ito, di ba? In this certain part is called the emergent layer, and this part is the canopy layer, and this is the understory, and lastly is the forest floor. Now, aalamin natin, ano ba ang emergent layer? So the emergent layer is, everybody read, the tallest trees that rise above the rest of the forest receiving the most sunlight. So as you can see in the picture, diba, it is the tallest tree. So the tallest tree is the one who receives mostly the heat of the sunlight. Kasi siya yung mas mataas pa sa ibang mga kahoy. And also, since siya yung pinakamataas, siya yung pinakamayabong na tree, since it receives a large amount of sunlight from the sun. Now, ano ba yung mga height na makikita dito sa emergent layer? So, nandito. So, aside from the harpy eagle and also the bats, ito yung makikita naman. So, we have the hawk eagle, the gliders, the sloths, the bats, that was already mentioned earlier, and also the scarlet macaw. So, the gliders, di ba parang familiar siya sa atin? Di ba pag nakikita nyo yung sa mga palabas na kung saan parang siyang lumilipad? Yeah, this is one. Ito yung gliders. And also, these animals, they can be found at the emergent layer. Because dito sila naninirahan. Specifically, the eagle or yung mga birds. Dito sila mostly nakikita sa emergent layer. Again, emergent layer, ito yung pinakamataas na kahoy kung saan it receives a large amount of sunlight. Now, next is the canopy layer. Ano ba yung canopy layer? Okay, everybody read. A dense layer of foliage formed by the tops of trees where the majority of the rainforest species live. So, ito yung canopy. Kung sa picture na to, yung canopy is ito. Ito yung canopy, yung baba ng emergent layer. So, it is a dense layer of foliage formed by the tops of the trees. So, parang mababa siya kaysa sa emergent layer. Kasi yun ba yung emergent layer is pinakamataas. But still, this canopy layer still receives an amount of sunlight na kailangan nila. Now, most of the species daw is dito naninirahan sa canopy layer. Now, aside from the monkey and the tarsier, ano pa ba yung makikita natin sa canopy layer ng mga species or animals? So see, we have here the black color monkey, the spider monkey, orangutan, and tarsier. So mostly pa na makikita natin dito sa canopy layer is monkeys. So there are different types of monkeys. So there are spider monkeys wherein, as you can see here, yeah, that is a spider monkey. So again, the canopy layer mostly houses a lot of species here, and also siya yung sunod sa emergent layer. Now next, so the next layer is the understory layer. So understory layer, so everybody please read. The layer beneath the canopy with smaller trees that thrive in the limited sunlight. So here in this picture, ito yung understory layer. So in the understory layer, limited na lang na sunlight yung nagigay nila. Since especially meron yung mga matataas na kahoy which is considered as the emergent layer who receives mostly of the sunlight, and also the canopy na nakaka-receive ng kahit kakaunting sunlight, at ito naman yung understory na kung saan hindi sila masyadong nakaka-receive ng sunlight, limited lang yung nakukuha nila. At ito yung mga smaller trees. Yes. So here, ito. So now, ano pa yung mga animals na makikita natin sa understory layer aside from bee and a jaguar? So ito. So there is a green iguana, a geckos, and butterflies. So butterflies daw makikita dito sa understory layer. So again, the understory layer is where the third layer of the rainforest wherein who receives limited sunlight. Okay? Okay, very good. Now next. So what is the forest floor? So it is the last layer of the rainforest. So everybody read. The darkest layer receiving very little sunlight is rich in decomposing plants and animals' matter. So this is the darkest layer of the rainforest because it is the floor. Pinakababa siya. Wherein mayroong matataas na kahoy, mayroong mga next na medyo mataas, at mayroong mataas-taas. And wherein sa forest floor, isa yung pinakababa. Sa pinakailalim na siya, wherein parang naanuhan na siya ng kahoy na yung mga matataas na kahoy, parang yung sunlight, hindi na sa directly nakakapasok. Since yung sunlight it was being already absorbed mostly by the emergent layer, second by the canopy, and also next is the understory wherein it receives limited. Here in the forest floor is very konti na lang na nare-receive nila na sunlight because of this. Now, mostly in the forest floor, it consists of decomposing organisms. So these are the examples of these organisms. Okay, so snake was already being mentioned earlier. Salamander, tupper, decomposers, and worms. So snakes mostly found down dito sa forest floor na layer na rainforest because snakes loves a certain environment wherein malamig siya at hindi masyadong mainit. And also, in these forest floor layers, you can mostly see decomposers wherein since in decomposers, yung rule nila dito is yung parang yung mga leaves na nahuhulog o yung mga plants na namamatay is you are going to decompose it and parang i-decompose yun nila. And after they decompose it, those certain yung mga na-decompose nila, it will serve as the nutrients from the plants na naman. Okay, understood? Okay. So ano nga ulit yung 4 layers ng rainforest? The emergent, canopy, understory, and forest floor layers. Okay. So now, aside from these layers, since nalalaman na natin yung mga animals na naninirahan dito sa tropical rainforest, ano kayo yung mga interaction? Since you said earlier that they compete, yung interaction that through competing by food at ano pa man. So we have here what we call as the food chain. So ano ba ang food chain? Anyone here knows what is food chain? Okay, very good. So food chain is where how energy works. Paano napapasa yung energy? So here it said that food chain, it is a straight line. But it is not only straight line. Meron din food chain na kung saan naka-circular siya. But here, we were focused on how food chain or how energy moves from one living organism through another, through in the process of a linear sequence na nangyayari. So here, so in the food chain, there is producers, consumers, and decomposers. Now, aalamin natin yan kung ano ba yan sila. So first is the producer. So what is producer and ano yung role ni producer? Okay, everybody please read. Producers are living things like plants that can make their own food. They do this using sunlight, water, and air through a process called photosynthesis. This means that they don't need to eat other living things to get energy. They created themselves. So the role of producers is they create food. They do not eat, but instead they create food through the process of photosynthesis. So how does photosynthesis happen? So we have here a formula. The carbon dioxide was being absorbed by the plant, and also water, and next is the sunlight that gives energy. Then they created glucose. So this glucose is considered as sugar. So this sugar wherein they have these certain pollinators like bees, butterfly, that they suck this certain nectar from the plant, and also this plant produce or release oxygen. So this oxygen, we inhale it. So the plants, they have, or the producers, they have absorbed the carbon dioxide and also they release oxygen. And also, these certain plants, they have also created what we call as the glucose or sugar, wherein it becomes a food for those certain pollinators like bees, butterflies, and so on. So the rule of food producers is that they create their own food. Okay? Okay, very good. So next is the consumers. So everybody please read. Consumers are living things that cannot make their own food. They get energy by eating plants, animals, or both. So as I said earlier, we talked about producers wherein they create their own food without needing a food. So they created only food. Here in consumers, they cannot make their own food, so that they need food in order for them to get an energy. So they get it from eating plants, animals, or maybe they eat both plants and animals. So there are different classification of consumers. So what are those? Yes, Rinya. Okay, yes, there is the herbivore, carnivore, and omnivore. So what is the difference between these three? Three, rather. Okay, pati nyo? Okay, very good. So herbivore, it is a certain animals that only eats plant. So they only eat plant. While the carnivore is they only eat, yes, meat. And while the omnivores, they eat both. They eat plant and they also eat meat. So yun yung distinction between the three. Now, we have also what we call as the primary consumer, the secondary consumer, and also the tertiary consumer. So these primary consumer, they are the first hand. They are often also considered as herbivore. While the secondary consumer, they are also considered as the carnivore or the second hand. So sila yung kumakain mainly kay primary consumer. Like for example, primary consumer eat what we call as plant, then probably secondary consumer eat meat. While the tertiary consumer they are the third hand, wherein they are considered as omnivore, wherein they eat both plants and also animals. So we as human, where do you think we belong? Okay, yes, Sheena. Okay, very good. So we belong in the tertiary. We are a tertiary consumer because we both eat plants and, yes, meat. So next is the decomposers. So what is decomposers? So everybody please read. Decomposers are living things like fungi and bacteria that break down dead plants and animals into tiny pieces. They recycle nutrients back into the soil, helping plants grow. So these decomposers, their role is that they are the decomposer, or they break down those dead plants or bodies of the animals. So those dead plants of animals, this decomposer is they act as a certain, they decompose these certain dead bodies. So when they decompose this, that certain dead body will return as a nutrients, and also that certain nutrients will go back to the plants as they serve as their nutrients and able for them to grow more healthily. Understand? Okay, very good. Now to understand really how this certain food chain work, we have here a certain illustration. So here. So as you can see here. So the sunlight, here is the sunlight. So the sunlight serves as the energy. So the energy from the sunlight goes to the plants. So these plants, they are considered as, what again? Producers, because plants make their own food in the process of photosynthesis. Now, the certain worm. So this worm, unrolling worm, is siya yung primary consumer. So since siya yung primary consumer, siya yung uunang kakain kay producer, which is the plant. Now here is the chicken. So si chicken dito considered as the secondary consumer. So since secondary consumer siya, sa'yo kakain naman kay worm. Kakainin ni chicken si worm. Now since after the chicken is meron naman tayo dito kay snake. So this snake is considered as the tertiary consumer. Since siya yung third hand. So siya yung kakain kay chicken. So syempre since si snake, they eat chicken, especially these snakes, they are meat eater. And also, pag namatay naman itong si snake, or probably, yes, si snake, so siya is magiging lalabas na dito si decomposer. Yung ruling decomposer is i-decompose niya yung dead body ni snake into a nutrients, at also babalik na naman yung cycle. So yung dead body ni snake is must serve as nutrients for the plants to grow more healthily. So na-understand ba? So ito yung linear sequence ng food chain. So this is how food chain works in a linear pattern. Understood? Okay, very good. So now, aside from food chain, there is also food web. Isa to, and it is another interaction by the animals. So, kung yung food chain is para madali lang siya intindihan, dito naman sa food web is ganito siya. It is complex because, for example, as you can see in the picture, what have you observed? Okay, very good. So dito si rabbit, kakainin niya yung plants. And also yung plants, kakainin niya siya yung mga ants or whatever it is. And naman, yung rat is kakainin siya ng snake. And also kakainin rin ng hawk, or itong hawk, yung rat. And also since hindi lang isa yung kakain sa isa. Instead, there is uncertain what we call a complex in a certain web. Like for example, here in the definition, it states that a web consists of all the food chain. Like for example, lahat na yung nasa food chain, lahat ng animals, in a single ecosystem, or a complex network of interconnected and overlapping food chains, showing feeding relationship within a community. So in these pictures, it shows the feeding relationship. Like for example, yung snake is kakainin niya yung rabbit. And also yung rat, kakainin niya rin yung snake, kakainin niya rin yung rat. And also the hawk, it will also eat rat. So since there is a complex interaction in a certain food web. So now, aside from the food interaction, there are also other interactions that can be found in the tropical rainforest. So what have you observed in the picture? Okay, very good. So in the picture, it shows a certain tree, and also there is a plant that grows in the tree. So the two is live in harmony without hurting one another. So this interaction is called, anyone knows? Okay, yes, Angel. Okay, correct. It's called commensalism. So everybody please read. An interaction where organisms live together without harming one another. For example, orchids is attached to a trunk of a tree without harming it. So the picture that shows earlier, it is a certain tree and also the orchid grows in a tree, but they live in harmony because the orchid does not harm the certain tree. So that is an example of the commensalism. So aside from that, here is also an example of commensalism. The carabao and also the bird. So the bird only just sit there, only stand there at the back of the cow without harming the cow. So that is one of the example of commensalism. Now next interaction that can be found in a tropical rainforest. So what have you seen? Yes, there is a bee and also a plant wherein the bee is sucking a nectar from the plant. So what do you think this after interaction is called? Yes, Azon? Okay, very good. This interaction is called mutualism. So everybody please read. Interaction where both organisms benefit in the relationship. For example, a bee or butterfly suck nectar from a flower and the flower reproduces. So this is one of the example of mutualism. Yung picture kanina wherein yung flower is, yung bee is nagsasaksyon ng nectar sa flower and also the flower is also reproducing a nectar. So there is a mutualism interaction between their two. So aside from that, here is also an example of mutualism. So as you can see, there is a clownfish and there is also an anemone. So the interaction between these two is that the clownfish serves as the bait wherein a lot of also other fish will go to the certain anemone and also the anemone will eat those certain fish since also the clownfish is they cannot be harmed by this certain what we call the anemone. So there is also a mutualism interaction because the clownfish can hide in the certain anemone and also it helps the anemone also to get other also fish since they will be lured by the clownfish. Okay, understood? Okay, very good. So next interaction is this. What have you observed? Okay, there is a sun. Yes, there is a plant. Okay, yes, they are competing. So these certain plants are competing for energy. So what do you think this interaction called? Okay, Norchi? Okay, very good. This interaction is called, competition. So everybody please read. Interaction wherein organisms compete for survival. For example, grass, scrubs, flowers, and trees grows together in one area where they compete for food of sunlight, soil nutrients, and other things needed for survival. So in competition wherein a certain organism is competing for a certain energy. Like for example, plants and trees, they compete for the source of energy which is the sun. Like have you observed those certain vines wherein they have already parang mukap-kap sila kasi parang they are really seeking for sunlight and able for them to do the photosynthesis. So parang dito, they are competing para makasurvive in a certain environment. And also in competition, there are both types or there is a classification of competition. The interspecific and intraspecific. So what does these two mean? So here is the picture. What have you observed? Okay, yes, Regine? Okay, correct. So in the intraspecific, wherein there is two the same species or organism competing with each other. Like for example, the deer. They are competing with one another. It could be competing for the shelter, for food, and whatsoever. Now in the interspecific competition, what do you think? Okay, yes, Bisinga? Okay, very good. There is a different species competing with one another. Like for example, the giraffe and also the rabbit. So they are competing with one another and also that is the food which is the grass or also called as the producers. They are competing with one another but they are different species. So we're just going to remember that in interspecific when Both organisms are competing with one another. While in interspecific competition, different species are competing with one another. Understood? Okay. So now, the last, what we call interaction in the rainforest is. So what have you observed in the picture? Okay, very good. There is a snake and also there is a rat. So what do you think is this? Okay, what do you think is a certain type of interaction? Okay, yes, Mary? Okay, very good. So this interaction is called predation. Yes, predation. So everybody please read the definition of predation. It is a kind of interaction in which one organism kills smaller organisms for food. An example of this is when a snake eats a rat for food. Predator usually organisms which are stronger, bigger, and fiercer compared to prey. So as you have observed in the picture, the rat here is considered as the prey, wherein the snake is considered as the predator. So the predator will going to eat the prey. Because in predation, yung mga predator dito is sila yung para may mataas na power because they prey for those organisms wherein walang masyadong kakayahan because the predator here is they are more stronger. And here is another example. Like for example, the deer and the cheetah. Like we all know that the cheetah is malakas siya pag tumatakbo. Sulit ba, yung dito yung deer is parang prey siya kasi hindi siya malakas tumakbo and also, this certain cheetah is kakainin niya yung deer. Yes, very good. So this is one of the example of predation. Now again, what are those interaction that can be seen in a rainforest aside from the food chain and food web? Yes, we have the commensalism, mutualism, competition, and also, lastly, yes, predation. Very good. So those are the interaction that can be seen specifically in the tropical rainforest. Okay, very good. Since you already now understand what is ecosystem, primarily the interaction of these living organisms in the tropical rainforest. Now I have a question. Why is it important that we learn about our ecosystem? Why? Yes, Kaparida? Okay, very good. To know the interaction between these certain living organisms. So by understanding our ecosystem, we understand how living organisms interact. Now, thank you. Aside from that, what else? Yes, Jana? Okay, very good. To know also by understanding ecosystem, we know how to protect it. Yes, very good. So by understanding ecosystem, we know that we have this certain responsibility to protect our ecosystem. Now, for example, is it okay that we cut trees without replacing it? And also clearing out our forests and also building some infrastructures. Do you think it is correct? Yes, Michelle. Yes, it is a big no. Why? Okay, yes, Miguel. Okay, very good. Since if we cut all those trees, especially, there will be no more shelter for the animals. And aside from that, no one will absorb the carbon dioxide, especially the trees. They absorb the carbon dioxide and able for them to perform what we call the photosynthesis, and they release oxygen enabled for us to, yes, inhale. So if we cut all those trees and build infrastructures without replacing those trees that we have cut, there will be an imbalance in our ecosystem. Now, since there will be an imbalance, so it is essential that we should not do all those things. Now, as a human or as a student, what do you think will be the good thing that we can do in order for us to help our ecosystem? Okay, yes, Mary? Okay, very good. that is one of the certain things that we should really do as a human or even as a student. We should always do not throw our garbages just everywhere. We should always put them in the right places. So with that also, we can also engage like what Mary said into tree planting activities, right? Like just this month, we have conducted this what we call the tree planting activity. Lahat ba nakasali sa activity na yon? Okay, very good. So that activity is also one of the way to help our ecosystem restore. Kasi when we plant trees, we also restore our ecosystem. And also aside from planting some trees, we should also be responsible with our waste. We shouldn't just, as I said earlier, we shouldn't just throw garbages anywhere. Instead, we should put it in a proper place. So aside from also being responsible with our waste and also doing tree planting activities or maybe allies in our barangay, we can also advocate, especially for those people, like we can let them be educated about the certain what we call the importance of preserving our ecosystem. So as a student, since we are already knowledgeable enough about our role as an individual, especially the ecosystem that we need to protect, we also need to share this certain knowledge to those people. Like our role in preserving. Because in preserving our ecosystem, it is not just a one-man's job. It is our job as a citizen in this earth. So we should always do things that can help our ecosystem restore and prosper more. Understood? Okay, very good. Now again, what is our topic all about? Yes, Jowem. Okay, yes, the ecosystem and the living things interaction within, specifically in the tropical rainforest. Now, what are the three layers of tropical rainforest? Okay, honey. Okay, ang bilis ni honey. So there is the emergent, canopy, understory, and lastly, the forest floor. Now, what is the two interactions of food? Okay, sino dito? Okay, yes, Angel. Okay, ang bilis. The food chain and the food web. Lagi natin tandaan, pag food chain is just a linear or a simple, how energy transfer. While in food web, it is a complex exchange of how energy transfer from one organism to the next. Now, aside from that, ano kaya yung other interaction aside from food chain and food web? Okay, yes, Patinyo. Wow, bilis ni Patinyo. Commensal listen, mutual listen, competition, and also predation. So those are the interaction aside from the food chain. So did you learn something today? Okay, very good. Since you learned something for today, do you want to do for another activity? Do you want another activity to do? Okay, very good. Since we have another activity. So this activity is called, okay, nasaan na? Okay, this called as Eco Explorers Task. So this will be our new activity for today. So what will be this activity? Ano ba yung activity nito? Okay, so we have here the direction. So I want everybody to please read. The class will be divided into 3 groups based on the headdresses you are assigned. Bird, mushroom, and bee. So the same groups as earlier. So di ba? Meron tayo yung bird groups, the mushroom group, and the bee group. So di ba nandiyan pa rin kayo sa groups nyo? Because, as I said earlier, you shouldn't just go to your proper seat. Stay lang kayo sa groups nyo because we will have another activity. And this will be the activity. Okay, so each group will have a specific task to complete within 5 minutes. You will need to collaborate with your group members to accomplish the task. And each group will then present their work to the class. So you will only have 5 minutes to complete the task. So each group, from group 1, 2, and 3, you have a different task to do. So these tasks are, so for the group 1, your task is, eco-photographer. So everybody please read. Okay, very good. So you will go outside our class and do roam around in our school surroundings, and also you will act as a photographer. So I will only need 2 pictures that you can see about different interactions that you have seen based on our discussion earlier. Kahit anong interaction na makikita niyo. It could be a food chain interaction, it could be interaction about the producers, whatever interaction, or maybe yung sa comments na listen kanina, or ano pa bang interaction that you find interesting that you want to capture. So within only 5 minutes, and after that, pwede na kayo bumalik dito, and also you need to select one representative for your group to explain the photos that you have captured. And also you will tell that what type of interaction that certain picture portray. Understood, group 1? Okay, very good. So for your rubric, so this is how it will be graded based on your output. Okay, so this rubric. So don't worry because I will also give you a rubrics, a printed rubrics for this, for you to read. Okay, nagkakaintindihan na group 1? Okay, very good. Now for the group 2. Okay, for the group 2, your task is slogan creator. So everybody please read the direction. Okay, so you're only going to create a slogan. So it should be a catchy. So it should about raising awareness about the importance of protecting our rainforest, or our ecosystem. So you will create a slogan about this. So with that, you also pick one representative to present your output here in front after you create your slogan. Understood? So here also your rubrics on how you'll be graded based on your output. So same with group 1, I'll also give to you a printed rubric in order for you to read. So you will be guided in doing your output. And lastly, for the group 3. So your task is to be a food chain designer. So group 3, please read your direction. Okay, so you will create a food chain. Aside from I have presented earlier, you'll also need to create your own food chain based on what you have learned. So with that, you should also label that certain there should be a producer, the primary consumer, and also don't forget the satellite as the main source of energy by the producers, and also the primary, the secondary, tertiary, and lastly the decomposer. Kahit na yung bahala kung ano yung ilalagay nyo ng mga animals sa primary, secondary, and tertiary, but dapat hindi siya the same so yung binigay kong examples kanila. It should be other animals that you think is suited in a certain level of this food chain. And the same with group 1 and 2, you need to pick one representative to present your output in the class on about your food chain. Okay, nagkakaintindihan? Group 3? Okay, very good. So, for the rubrics, so this is also the rubrics group 3 on how you be graded. Okay? The same from group 1 and group 2, you will also be given a printed copy of this rubric and able for you to be guided. Okay, group 3 understood? Okay, very good. Now, so here is it. So I will provide for the group 2 and 3 for your bond paper, wherein you can do the slogan and also the posters. So here, group 2, also group 3. So for the group 1, does anyone of you have a phone? Okay, yes, thank you, Mary. So, the group 1 will go outside to take up pictures for anything that they think shows an interaction. Okay, for the group 2, gagawa kayo ng slogan. Group 3 for design. Okay, so you only have 5 minutes to complete your task, right? So your 5 minutes starts now. everyone is now done presenting their output. So let's give them a 5 claps and also an A clap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also the A clap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey! Okay, very good. So group 1, group 2, and group 3, you all got a perfect score for your output. That was very comprehensive, especially for the group 1, group 2, and the group 3. So the group 1 presented their captured picture in a most beautiful way, and also the group 2, yung slogan nila is very impactful. Also, and the group 3, they created their own version of food chain, especially sa primary, tertiary nila, sa secondary and tertiary. So let's give ourselves again a 5 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, pwede na tayong bumalik sa mga upuan natin. Okay, so when you go back to your seats, please arrange your chairs properly. Okay. Okay, huwag magtulakan. Just go to your seats quietly. Okay, is everyone settled? Okay, very good. Okay, class, so let's go back to our learning objective we virtually obtained it. So first, identify the interactions among living and non-living things in tropical rainforests. Have we attained it? Okay, yes. Second, analyze how living organisms depend on non-living components for survival in a tropical rainforest ecosystem, and how we attained it, the second objective. Yes, very good. And lastly, appreciate the balance between living and non-living components in tropical rainforests by discussing the importance of preserving these ecosystems. Did we attain the last objectives? Yes, very good. So we have all attained our all learning objectives. Lahat na ay settled. So I want you all to get your assignment notebook and also your pen and write this assignment. So this will be our assignment. This will be your assignment, and this must be passed on our next meeting. Okay, everyone, please write it in your assignment notebook, and you can also answer it also in your assignment notebook, especially in your science assignment notebook. Okay, science assignment notebook. Okay, here is another part. Okay, tapos na isulat. Okay, very good. Now, fix all your notes. Ilagay nyo na lahat yan sa bag nyo. Your desk must be clean. Okay. Ulit na ba yung mga desk? Okay, arrange your chairs. Para yung iba hindi na naka-align. Okay, align your chairs. Okay, align na. So, everybody please stand up. Okay. So, for a prayer, for our closing prayer, I request Mary. Okay, Mary. Amen. Okay, goodbye and see you around class. Okay, cleaners, wag agad umalis ha. You should clean our room. You should clean our room, dapat. Okay, sige, nakikita ko yung room natin para hindi na siya clean. Okay, again class, see you tomorrow.